Work Package 2. Regional Innovation Case Studies across Europe. Work Package 2 of AgriLink is focused to find out why, how, and from whom European farmers and farm managers get advice on innovations when they decide to go green. Diversity is a big part of our work. Regions, problems, and contexts vary across Europe and also the challenges that come with that. European Multi-Actors Team, researchers, advisory organisations, public advisory services working in 13 countries, join together and draw tools and strategies to interact with farmers. The common aim? To understand why, how, and from whom they get advice on innovations related to sustainability. We are working with 32 regional innovation case studies spread by more than 30 regions in Europe. The 9 innovation types are addressing different farm sustainability challenges across Europe. More than 1,000 farmers and farm managers were interviewed, and 1,080 micro-level agricultural knowledge and innovation systems, also called micro-ACIS, were described. Farmers' micro-ACIS include innovation adopters, informed non-adopters, and adopters who abandon the innovation, the droppers. More than 200 advice suppliers, including profiles identified by the farmers' micro-ACIS, were interviewed to obtain their view on why, how, and from whom European farmers and farm managers get advice on innovations. Much depends on the innovation nature, the farm structure, the farm business models, the farmer profile, the regional advisory services, the regional ACIS, the regional geographic and socio-demographic contexts. Hence, findings express all that Diversity Europe is made of. Let's see some examples of high-tech innovation in some regions to show the diversity and the way that we can link them to policy recommendations. The examples point out the results of how the farmers get advice for implementing precision farming in 7 different regions. Implementing precision farming in Czech Republic, Poland and Scotland, use of drones in France, milking robots in Norway, and smart irrigation sensors in Portugal. Face-to-face is the most common way to deliver advice, closely followed by phone interaction. The appearance of unconventional advice suppliers, such as informal specialists supporting ecological farming practices, is shared by other innovation micro-ACIS, highlighting advice supply gaps across different innovations and the lack of public advisors. The role of private input suppliers supplying advice raises questions regarding the independence of advice. Group methods such as workshops, seminars, and group meetings tend to be important for raising awareness about innovation. However, assessment when it takes place and implementation of the innovation requires personal interaction. 26 seminars were held in 13 countries, involving over 400 participants, mainly advisors, policymakers, and farmers. Also researchers, high-tech companies, NGOs and private input suppliers attended in some cases. We shared and validated the findings in a multi-actor perspective in each focus region, but we also had 2 additional goals. One was inventorying and discussing good fits and gaps of advisory activities and the role of advisors at the 3 stages of the trigger change cycle model. The second one, collecting recommendations and suggestions to improve current policies at EU, national and regional levels, on advisory and proposing new policy approaches and tools that can better fit the needs of advisory in supporting farmers' innovation in the broad framework of improving farming sustainability. The supply of universal, specialised and impartial advice is what public funding should support, with the need of coordination between a large diversity of advice providers, including non-conventional suppliers such as private inputs and technology suppliers, technology developers, researchers, the downstream industry, the clients, the consumers, NGOs and the local governments. Value chain approach is the way to move innovation forward. Effective advice relies on long-term trust relationships between farmers and advisors. This implies, among others, face-to-face advisory methods, the possibility to learn on farm, also in demo farms to observe the innovation along the whole cycle and assess long-term impact. Digital interaction creates opportunities so far underexplored by advisors, such as the creation of digital communities of practice and/or advisor groups focused on specific topics. The limited digital skills among farmers and advisors appears to be a challenge in several regions. Hence, developing innovative advisory approaches combining face-to-face personal and group actions with digital networks is a way to develop. However, its success requires public investment in infrastructure and in skilling farmers and their families to use these technologies. Facilitation besides advisory is a clear request and should be publicly funded. It would also answer the need for knowledge across multiple topics. Such investments would help adjust agricultural education and training to empower advisors with soft skills that enable them to act as facilitators of networks and partnerships and to act as farmers' coaches, raising their enthusiasm and willingness to engage in changing processes, demanding cognitive learning processes required for some innovations, investing time and effort in long-term assessment of innovations, and involvement in peer-to-peer farmers' networks. Training of farmers on field also for tech innovation with required time to assess all aspects. There is a need for funds to cover the total costs of farmer training, pushing farmers to enter in an active learning process. The learning process is always much longer than foreseen, and the risk of failure is related also to too short a time dedicated to assessment, fine-tuning, and adaptation to the specific farming system. At the EU and regional levels, we need to develop a collective and transparent back office through publicly accessible tools, such as digital portals and platforms, assembling relevant information to support awareness, assessment, and implementation of innovation. Information could be conveyed through updated databases on innovation case studies, including opportunities for digital tours to demo farms, coupled with programs of face-to-face visits and gathering.